Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Warwick Science's film practical of the change of states of matter. And in this case, we're talking about going from a liquid to a gas, and then a gas back to a liquid. Now, in order to do this, we will actually be boiling the water. So we have a standard tripod set up here with the gauze mat, and of course we'll be using our Bunsen burner that we used in the last activity, and we will be looking at this and using this particular beaker here. Now, I've coloured the water a little bit so we end up with red, and that's simply to be able to see it a little bit better. Okay, and what I'll also do, in order to show the level of the water, we'll put a mark on the beaker here. Now, as always with each of our pracs, there is a write up to do, and that will come up onto the screen. So if you would like to pause the video, get that down into your workbook, and then when you are ready to go, you can restart the video again. Okay, let's now then start to evaporate this water, and this is the process of evaporation. Okay, now obviously by placing the heat underneath the Bunsen burner there, this will boil away some of the water, and this is something that we do fairly consistently and fairly often through our life when we're making things like cups of coffee and the like. We tend to boil water. Now, this is obviously going to take a little bit of time, so what I'm going to do is pause the video, and then when something noticeable happens, I'll restart the video again. Okay, it's been about 3 or 4 minutes now, and you can start to see that we've now got the boiling starting to occur. You can see the bubbles that are inside the beaker there, and it's obviously, you can have a slight whiff of some smoke that is rising. So what I'm going to do is let it boil for a little bit longer, then I'll take the flame away and we'll be able to see where the amount of water is compared to the line that we started with. Okay, it's been a little bit longer now, so what I'll do is I'll remove the flame and place that onto a safety flame, because we will be reusing that. And as you can see, now that the water starts to settle down, that it has actually dropped by a fair amount. Now obviously matter is a substance, it can't be destroyed, it can't be made, so it must have gone somewhere else. So by heating it up, what we've done is we've actually turned it from a liquid into a gas. Now of course the question is, well, how can we prove that? How can we prove that those bubbles contain the gas that basically left? Well, what we can do is we can do the reverse process, which is a process that we call condensation. Okay, so again, we place the Bunsen under there, we get it firing, and this time what I'm going to do is I'm going to place a watch glass, okay, just a simple curved piece of glass, over the top to be able to catch. So what I can do is I can place that there. Now you might have noticed, or that's a little bit hard on the screen, that straight away that it started to fog up. Okay, and then what you'll also be able to notice, if I just bring in the camera on top there, is you can now start to see that liquid is starting to be formed. So when we boil the water at 100 degrees, it rises up, it hits the watch glass. That's less than 100 degrees, so it basically reforms into water again, and this is a process that we call condensation. And this occurs every day with a thing called the water cycle. So you can see there, and it's a very good example of the changing from the gas, which is being produced when we heat the water up, and then cooling down and turning back into a liquid again. Now, once again, please complete the worksheet. That is the write-up that's attached to this particular activity. Then if you have any problems, please see your teacher. And thank you for accessing Warwick Science's film practical of change of state from a liquid to a gas.